was on TV today, and I watched it. I listened to it.
Shame on the mayor.
Said 98 people were home.
Shame on Judge Duncan.
And there's more places for them.
Shame.
Where are they going to go? The mayor's never been here. He had a little press conference today just to. It's called a Band-Aid, just to put a Band-Aid over the situation.
He's trying to look good for the election.
This is not a Band-Aid. This is a serious problem.
Right.
And you know, you guys heard the conversation. There's no beds. So where are they going to go?
Right.
Let's phone the mayor. And better yet, tell me where the mayor lives and I'll take my bed there tonight. We'll sleep in his house and see if he likes me.
That's the kind of people you're dealing with in Oppenheimer Park, and they don't seem to want to leave despite a court order. Let's get the latest on this Vancouver story. Ada Slavinsky joins us. How many people are we talking about here, Ada, that are creating a fuss?
So, Pat, there's about 200 who are still camping out at the park, and we thought this would all be over last night because, of course, when the judge dealt with the injunction, she gave them a week to get out, which should have ended at 10 o'clock yesterday. But as that deadline approached, it became clear that police weren't planning to move in. There were rumors kind of swirling that they would wait until the morning, which obviously seems to make a bit more sense because it's dangerous at night to go in there and try to root through people's stuff and get them out, and that's when people are much more under the influence of drugs and alcohol. So that seemed like a strategy that makes sense, but they definitely did not enforce the court order last night. And interestingly enough, police are also saying now that they don't want to make any arrests. So I just want to play you a clip from Brian Montague. He's one of the constables.
We don't want to arrest people. That said, that those that remain here do run that risk. They are breaching a court order. But at this point, we're going to encourage people to continue leaving the park voluntarily.
So, Pat, as you can see, no consequences, at least in the immediate future, for these people. You know, if I park my car somewhere that's a little bit too close to the curb, it gets towed, it gets forcibly evicted. But these people have been camping in Oppenheimer Park for about 4 months now, and they're still allowed to stay there. The only action that we really saw from police yesterday is they sent 2 female police officers into kind of the outskirts of the park for a little walkabout. And right then a mob came out to meet them, yelling, trying to get them out, and that was all the action that we saw. So my fear now is that this is going to fuel the fire and cause more people to come in and pitch their tents because they're seeing this kind of inaction.
A good point. Are there police on the perimeter, though, other than those 2 that strolled through?
There was a big police vehicle, kind of a command station that police were going in and out of, but I think they tried to keep the on-the-ground presence fairly small. They didn't want to agitate people, it seems. So there wasn't a great deal of police presence on the ground, but I'm sure that they could have, should something have happened, they could have been there very quickly. They were definitely keeping an eye on the situation, but it wasn't as if you were seeing police walking through the entire camp.
Okay, and then you obviously, we started this off with a belligerent, we'll say, camper, possibly impaired or not lacking in judgment. So he says that there's not enough beds. Are there?
Well, this is the thing that we can't get a straight answer to. So the city keeps sending out these press releases saying there are shelter beds available, there are enough beds to house the people. But that man that you heard from before that clip, he was on the phone with the 211 hotline, which is the number that people have been told to call, and got a pre-recorded message saying that there are no beds available. Now, I also tried to call that number and was directed to Carnegie Outreach, which is another center that's supposedly helping these people. They sent 2 staff members down, but they actually wouldn't talk to me or any of the other media once they saw our cameras. So we don't know, because I do know that there are people in the park who do want to go somewhere, who are willing to comply. Of course, there are still the heavy protesters that won't go anywhere and say they're not moving until they get arrested. But that is a minority. There are people in the park who are just confused. They want a safe place to stay, and they can't seem to work their way through the system and find somewhere to go. So we don't know at this point, is there a place for these people, because they can't seem to find it and I can't seem to get a straight answer.
Wow, interesting. Okay, straight answers would typically come from the mayor. He also made the claim that the mayor has not showed up and not really been involved. Has he?
he hasn't been at the park himself, which Kirk LaPointe, his rival candidate, has made a point to be there and show up. So interesting play there. But the mayor keeps speaking out about homelessness and saying, he's been saying for years that he wants to end street homelessness by 2015. That's been one of his central pledges. So it seems like we're getting a lot of talk and not a lot of action from the mayor. He keeps saying that he's going to find a solution, but as you can see, a lot of anger at him and about some of these promises. And Mayor Robertson's really dug himself into a hole here. So not only saying that he wants to end street homelessness, but also with a declaration that Vancouver is an unceded native land. That's really fueled the fire also, because we've seen throughout the months at this park more native protesters coming in and saying that the mayor has no right to evict them because it is native land. So I think he's made quite a mess here. Mayor Robertson really doesn't seem to know what he's doing, can't really direct any real action. So I don't think we'll be seeing this going away anytime soon, very unfortunately.
Where is the mayor in the polls?
He's doing well. He's always been doing well. He's a very popular mayor in Vancouver, has a lot of support as the incumbent, of course. So I don't know how this will play out. I think people now are starting to pay a bit more attention, especially with the deadline. So we'll see how that affects him for sure.
Well, we ever had it. Thanks so much.